Hello, this is Cat's Diamond Painting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. I'm here today a little later than planned. I wanted to do this kind of right at the start of the month, but to be honest, I've been on holiday. I've been having a break and just diamond painting and hanging out with my family and having fun. And whilst this isn't work for me, it's, it's a job to film a video and edit it. And some days I feel like that and some days I don't. So all this is to say that this is now the 6th of January and I'm here today to film my quarter four review for paintings that I completed October to December 2025, and then also to review my ongoing whips. If you're new here, you may be wondering why I am doing a quarter four review rather than an end of year review, which is, probably what your YouTube feed is flooded with. If you're anything like me, I love to watch them. But I do mine a little differently because I started diamond painting in April, and because I then started this channel the following February and really wanted to kind of join in with one of my favourite video trends. I did my first end of year review that April to celebrate my first year of diamond painting, my first complete calendar year. No, not calendar year, my first actual year of diamond painting. And then I've just carried on doing that. So I do a quarterly review video every quarter, every 3 months. And then I will do my end of year review in around mid-April. So I have had, for me, a super productive 3 months of diamond painting. I have really got the bug recently. I mean, I always loved diamond painting. It has remained my favourite hobby solidly for coming up to 5 years now since I discovered it. But, like everyone, I go through phases. There's sometimes when I'm more motivated to work on kits than others. And yeah, I've been really on it recently. So I have got around 8 finishes to show you for this quarter. I say around because some of them are like small projects, some of them are, I don't know, you'll see when I get into it. So some of those were brand new projects that I started and completed within this quarter. There were several that were wrapping up long-term projects, which kind of maybe artificially boosts the numbers of finishes a bit, because I'm one of those people that sometimes I'll start a painting and I'll work on it straight through. Other times I'll start a painting and I know it's going to take me ages and I'm going to have lots of breaks. So this is my first finish of the quarter, and I do have a whole post review on this one if you would like to check it out. But I'm not going to dwell on any individual paintings too long because I have post reviews for my finishes. But yeah, just going to go through them. It's really fun to do. So this was Halloween House. I was sent this by a company called Lettuce Stitch. They reached out to me and offered to send me a painting for me to show to you guys as promotion for them. And I wanted to try it to see what they were like. And then also I wanted to do a quick and easy Halloween project around Halloween. So as I said, there is a post review for this one because, yeah, I really wanted to go over it as a brand new to me company. But it's a pretty small, simple, straightforward project. It was 30.5 centimeters squared and it had round drills. I started this on October the 12th and finished it on October the 17th. So it's a pretty quick project for me. And yeah, I mean, as I said in the post review, really, I did enjoy it. I thought that for the size that they've opted to make it at, it looks pretty decent. I think there are some details that are a bit lost, particularly the pumpkins at the bottom, and the stars look a little clunky because the proportions are off. You can't make them smaller than 1 pixel, and that's a bit big, proportionally speaking, at this size. But other parts like the house look really good. I think they're not a brand new company, but they are a cross-stitch company that is branching out into diamond paintings. And I guess they're finding their feet and they've gone for small snack size projects, which kind of makes sense, if you're just branching out into a new hobby. And yeah, I hope that as they kind of find confidence and grow, that they will branch out into slightly bigger kits and, rendering to a size more appropriate for the image. But as I said, I don't think it looks bad for the size. And it was nice to have a small snack size project that I could just whip through really quickly. They were acrylic round drills. A lot of places do still use acrylic round drills because you don't tend to have the same quality issues as you do with square drills. Acrylic squares, that is. But I remember them being decent. I don't remember there being a lot of trash with this one at all. And yeah, that was finish number 1. My next project is kind of the opposite of what I just showed you, in that this was a very big project, and it is one of those long-term projects that I managed to wrap up in these past 3 months. This was outside the sweet shop. So long-time viewers of my channel will have seen this many times because it popped up on these quarterly reviews for about a year and 3/4, because I really did take my time with this one. Again, like Halloween House, I have a dedicated post review for this kit, so I don't want to repeat myself too much, so I'm going to keep this brief. But if you're interested in this project, as a lot of people are, this has been a really popular kit, do go check that out. So this was from Diamond Art Studio UK, and this was the kit that really kind of, I'm going to say kind of put them on the map, in that they were already an established shop with great quality before this, but this was the kit that kind of went huge. And a lot of people were sharing images of it on social media, and it brought them a lot of new customers, and they have, you know, a really justifiably dedicated fan base now who really enjoy their kits. They are one of the 2 shops I work on kits from most often, and one of my absolute favourites. This was their first Max Colour kit by the artist Hel Corio. They've now done several. And my Max Colour kit, I think they justify that as being like over 200? No, over 100, because this has got 197 colours. So it was a bit of a trek. I started this one in February the 12th, 2024 was when I laid down the first drills, and I finished it on October 21st, 2025. So yeah, it was about a year and 8 months. It's only an 80 by 60 centimetre kit with square drills, so it's not like the biggest project ever. It was the sheer amount of confetti and the challenge of dealing with so many colours that made this a project that I knew I wanted to take my time with. Because the way I am with high confetti kits is that I can really, really enjoy working on high confetti, but I do burn out of it if I work on a kit like that for too long. So I knew from the start, and this proved to be true, that I would do this probably 1 or 2 rows at a time. By rows, I mean I have a kit like this on my easel portrait mode, so I worked on it sideways, and a row would be actually the height of this particular one because of that direction. And I was doing quite small strips of release paper. I was doing half size release paper sections compared to what I would normally do, to keep the sections more manageable, because even a section that was that small, and I do mean, you know, really quite small sections, could take hours, because some parts are even, you know, there are small elements of blocking, but there conversely are many, many sections where it is intense confetti. It's absolutely not a kit you're going to enjoy unless you're someone that does enjoy confetti at least some of the time, because, you know, you're literally getting a pot of drills out, placing 1 or 2 drills, putting it away and repeat for the whole of a section sometimes. So yeah, it was a challenge. It was really fun, but I did it in small bursts to preserve that fun, and yeah, it worked. I did really enjoy this one. I would come back to it whenever I felt in the mood. I would do a row, and usually by the end of that row I was like, yeah, the fun is easing, I'm ready to work on something else, and then I would switch to something else, and sometimes I would leave it for months, sometimes it would just be a few weeks. The last section, as is often the case with a project that takes me a while, went a lot quicker, partly because there is a fair bit of blocking on this side, but also largely because I think when I get to the end of a project, the end is in sight, you have that much more motivation and desire to keep going. So yeah, I did 2 or 3 rows in one go at the end there. So yeah, that is outside the sweet shop. It is gorgeous, definitely one of my favourite finishes, and one that, you know, I'm proud of because it was a bit more of a challenge. But yeah, do go check out the dedicated post review if you'd like to hear any more about this one. Moving on. The next thing in my album is one of my monthly mini dazzles, so I'm just going to cover that off now. Let's bring you in. So Diamond Art Club brought out a set of mini dazzles for months of the year back in 2024, and then I plan to do those once a month in 2025 to have a little image on my desk, and that is what I did. So the ones that I would have done, I mean, I may well have done this in September. This is October's one, which is probably my least favourite. It's a bit one-dimensional, you know. It's a lot of orange, and the pumpkins don't really stand out. But the ones that I definitely did within this quarter were November, which I think is very pretty actually. And then December, got to have a good old classic Christmas image. So yeah, I showed these as kind of mini completions in all of the quarters because I sort of saw them as standalone projects in some ways, but I'm counting this now as one completion for the purposes of I have done X diamond paintings during my time in this hobby because it was one set of mini dazzles. So I'm counting that as a finish. Next up is a painting from a new to me company that I completed as a favour for a friend who had got this and wanted to see what I thought of how it was to work on basically. So this is a little kit from Pikmonu from their advent calendar that they released some point last year. I didn't buy the advent calendar. I've never actually placed an order with Pikmonu. A lot of their art isn't to my personal taste, which includes this one. But as I said, I was completing this one for a friend. It's actually really cute, but I don't tend to go for more cutesy art or that very AI heavy look. But yeah. I was happy to help, and like, you know, it's no big ask for me because it's really fun actually to try a new company, and it was only small anyway. It doesn't actually seem to say, oh yeah, it's 20 by 30 centimeters. It had 57 colours, which is quite a lot. That is one thing that has happened in the past year or so, is that I have gone off kitting up quite a lot. I used to really enjoy it. Now I find it a bit tedious, I think because so many kits come out with like really high colour counts. And I definitely feel a little bit of resentment when I've got a really small snack size project and then like a full kitting up, you know, 57 colours. Felt like a lot. There were a couple of ABs and there was one, the code is G. I guess it was like a sort of glimmer drill. I actually can't see. Yeah, I think so. There is a particular run of suppliers because like there's lots of factories making diamond paintings, but certain shops will share similar factories. So there's this style of drill that I think of as glimmer drills because Jaded Gem Shop uses the same drills and she calls them that. And I've seen them pop up in a few shops now, and that's what they are. They're kind of like Diamond Art Club's fairy dust, but they're a bit more glittery. I don't know if I can see any to show you. There's very few of them. It's like the white dot in the bear's eye. Anyway, so my thoughts on it as I fed back to my friend were that aside from personal grievances like that, overall I thought the quality was decent. The drills fit together pretty well. You can see some gapping, particularly because of the colours. You know, it's very hard to avoid gapping with pale colours, but actually the drills couldn't have been a lot closer without popping, and I definitely prefer minor gaps to popping. If you ever are going to hang a painting on your wall and you're worried about gapping, the glue will kind of shrink over time, so any minor gaps that you see are probably going to disappear anyway. It was, I think the main thing that I found an adjustment was that the grid was, it had, so some patches would have like no outlines of squares. Other patches would have like dark outlines of squares. So particularly with paler colours, I was always concerned that things would show through. And that probably does exacerbate the gapping in some places. Like, I don't know if you can see there's a bit of a gap where I've placed them and behind it is black. The symbols were fine. Again, like they reminded me a lot of Jaded Gem Shop. They were the same style and font of symbols, so you know, maybe they're using a similar factory, which I think comes from like Evermoment originally. It's the factory that Evermoment uses. I don't know. Anyway, stop nerding out, cat. There were some details that maybe didn't come through at this size, so I don't know if that's a compromise they deliberately made because they were rendering small kits to go in their advent calendar, or whether it's a kind of inexperience with rendering and not realizing, because like these little bits here are a bit random, these little bits here, and I thought some of the color choices were a bit off. Like I think the lilac-y beige bits that provide the shadowing, like you do need to have some of those in there for texture, but they're maybe a little bit too dark. It's a little bit too much like a photo negative. But you know, he's cute and it was actually quite fun to work on. I whizzed through this in 2 or 3 days, I think, over a weekend, so it didn't take me too long, and yeah, it was a decent little project. I'm probably not likely to rush to buy from them again, but it's more because of art styles than working on it. Like it was, you know, I was happy enough working on it. So that is that one. My next finish that I'm going to show you is a mystery kit. So I will try and put on screen a note for the time that you should skip to if you want to avoid spoilers for this. It is Mystery Kit Christmas Festive by Dominic Davison. It came out in Christmas in July, for the Christmas in July release that Diamond Art Club did last year. So yeah, it's long since sold out, but just in case you still have this in your stash, or you're hoping to pick it up on a destash and you don't want to know what it is, bear in mind this next portion of the video is going to be me going over this fairly briefly, because I have had a post review up of this, like I think it was only a week or two ago. But yeah, got to show it for the sake of completion. So I will put that time on now and spoilers commence. So this was a big and beastie kit. It was, what was it, 97.8 by 69.9 centimeters. I started it on November the 8th and I finished it on December the 16th, but I did have a few days off during that, so it kind of took me a little over a month, I would say, which for me was a bit of a revelation that I could complete a kit this size in that time. I did really enjoy it. I love a mystery kit anyway. I was working on it a lot, and despite how it looks, there were actually several periods that were quite blocky. Like, it's a very busy painting and there was definitely a lot of confetti overall, but there were some more blocky patches that went quicker as well. It is super fun. I love it. I love Dominic Davison. It's actually prompted me to rebuy a kit that I had destashed of his because I thought I'd never get around to it because of the size, which is the old shoe house that came recently. Because I love Dominic Davison's work. And this is something a little bit different. One thing that really intrigued me with the rendering of this is that in the original image, it said Toys Shop. And I'm not sure why. I guess it's an error, essentially, that the artist made and then couldn't undo. Oh no, there's a drill missing. And I think I've undone this one. I'll have to think about how I can fix that, because I'm pretty sure I've already kitted this down. Ah, how annoying. Anyway, yeah, so Dominic Davison is British. We don't say toys shop, we say toy shop. So I think that's just an error. And this is the first time I've ever seen this happen, but the rendering team have actually corrected that. So yeah, that is cool. I like that it did that, because I was thinking I was going to have to change that myself because it irked me. And I didn't actually want to, because I'm not creative like that. You know, I don't really want to edit paintings. Yeah, I don't know what to say that I haven't already said like really recently on this one, because it was so recently that I did my post review. But it was a lot of fun. It was really nice to get my Christmas project done within this Christmas season. Sorry, I had to take a brief pause because my husband came into the room to get his charger for his laptop. He said hi, and I said, I'm editing this bit out because it makes me feel really awkward when someone comes in. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, just I think that I set out on this thinking this is a bit ambitious. I'm probably not going to get this done this year. Maybe it would be like the Donna Gelsinger I did last year, where I finished it in Christmas in July. But then I enjoyed it so much I just carried on, and yeah, I got the whole thing done, and that felt like quite an achievement. And I did speak about this in the post review, but it made me feel like I've got to get less intimidated by big kits. It didn't take me that long to do. I can do it. I've got to just crack on and do the kits that I love most. So yeah, that is this one. I'm going to put this one away, and yeah, as I said, do check out the dedicated post review if you would like to hear my full thoughts on it. But really, I mean, it was a very high quality kit. There wasn't much trash. You know, I didn't have a lot to say on that front. So yeah, it was mainly just me kind of rhapsodizing on how much I loved it. Is that a word? I'm not sure that's a word. I'm going to put it away now. The next thing I did after that was I really wanted to work on some small Christmassy projects. So I got out the mini dazzles from this year's Diamond Art Club Advent Calendar. I'm just warning you now in case you don't want to see these, but I mean, I don't think it really counts as a spoiler anymore, because people have already bought and opened the advent calendar, right? So here they are. So there was a Yule log, some Christmas sweets. This is, it said figgy pudding on the package, and then I thought about it and I thought, is that really just what we call Christmas pudding here in the UK, or is it different? I'm not sure. There was this, which is, I guess, the cookies and milk for Father Christmas. There's this, which is eggnog. And this, which is a gingerbread house. My thoughts on these were that they were really fun because I love mini dazzles. You know, I love having small projects. I completed this in a couple of days, which weren't particularly heavy diamond painting days. Could probably do them in a day if I really wanted to. I did feel that I really preferred last year's mini dazzles from last year's advent calendar. Part of that was that I felt like maybe it's one of those things where there's only so many really classic Christmas images, and a lot of the best ones were obviously used in their first year of making Christmas mini dazzles, and some of these are maybe feeling a little more obscure, but I think some of that is a cultural thing. Like, for instance, eggnog. I mean, I've heard of it. I obviously know what it is, but it's not commonly had in the UK. Like, I've never had eggnog. I don't know anyone really who tends to have that at Christmas. So I'm wondering if maybe that's more common in the US. Maybe someone can confirm for me. So maybe this is just more, you know, they didn't vibe with me as much because of that, but they might be a really good fit for you if you are an American customer. And then the gingerbread house, I just felt like that one was a little bit boring because it's just brown and white, but you know, maybe that could have been jazzed up with a few more details, who knows. But they were fun. I really enjoyed having a nice small snack size project. So yeah, it's all good. The next thing I did after that, which I'm not counting as a finish because it's only part of a set, but I just thought I'd show you, is that I decided to do another coaster. I've had a couple of these sets of mandala coasters from Diamond Art Club now for sneak peeks, and I've only done a couple of them, but I really enjoy them. When I'm just in the mood for that really just quick project, you know, I'm going to do this within an hour. It's something a little bit different. I then seal it with Minwax polyacrylic, and I literally just use these as drinks coasters. I'm not, you know, doing anything more to protect them once they've been sealed. The sealing means that there aren't any residual sticky patches to collect dust, and protects them from, you know, drink condensation and that kind of thing. But yeah, I will eventually work through them all because I'm like, we never have enough coasters, so it's nice to add to them. After that, I was in the mood for another Christmas snack size project. So I worked on this kit, which is from last year's Diamond Art Club Advent Calendar. This is Season's Greeting Tree by Brita Seifert. Not sure how to pronounce that name, sorry. I originally wasn't that fussed by this image, but then I still had it. I actually destashed the kits from this year's Advent Calendar because someone was looking for them. And I just thought, yeah, let's give it a go. Let's see what it's like. And do you know what? It was quite fun. I was put off, as you can probably guess, by all of the white colour blocking. But I do find that Diamond Art Club has adjusted the grid for their round drills so well now that it's really not bad at all. I can multi-place them much better than I used to be able to. And I don't think it looks too staggered. Like I was quite careful with my placement because it really does show up with white drills if you know your lines aren't straight. But yeah, it was a fun little project. It had 50 colours. I did run out of a drill. I ran out of AB 135, and it was really annoying because I know I've had that drill loads in the past and it would be in my spare drills, but I cannot find what I've done to my spare drills. I used to keep all the leftovers from kits and then I stopped doing it a while ago because, hey, I'm lazy. But I thought I still had them somewhere, but I cannot find them. So that was frustrating because I was pretty sure they were somewhere in the house. But I was only short by like 2 or 3 drills, so it was these ones here. If you can see, those are ABs, and then these 3 should be. But I just got a similarly coloured green drill, and I don't think you'd ever know if I didn't point it out. It's always slightly frustrating to run out of drills, but it's only the second time it's ever happened to me with a Diamond Art Club kit. Both occasions it's been just by a very small number of drills, so they've just misjudged it a little bit. So it's not that problematic for me. And like, I wasn't, you know, that invested in this image, so I didn't mind switching them out for something else. But it was fun. It was a fun little project. Again, it worked out really quickly. I think I did this in like 2 or 3 days. I actually did most of it in one day, over a weekend, and then I think it took me a couple of brief sessions to do the rest of it. So yeah, that was fun. My next finish is Laundry Black Cats. I finished this on New Year's Day. I started it in July, I believe. Yeah, that's right. I ordered it for Black Friday 2024, and then I started it in July, and it's taken me, I think, about 3 goes at it, because it's a classic case of love the image. I adore the image, but it was a bit samey to work on, which I knew when I bought it, and I love the image enough to do that anyway. It was 31 colours, which, for all my whinging about kitting up large amounts of colours, I know realistically that any kit that isn't tiny, that only has 31 colours, I'm going to find a bit samey. It was round drills, so then, you know, I'm not the best at multi-placing them, or so I thought, but actually by the end of this, I was finding I could multi-place like 8 or 9 round drills because, again, of that tightened round grid. Got some annoying bits of black fluff that I need to somehow pick off around these bits because they really show. I'll have to get my tweezers out afterwards. But yeah, they are absolutely adorable. One fun thing about this kit is there was very little 310 in it, considering they're laundry black cats. They are mostly grey and blue. Let me bring one up for you to see up close. A lot of dark blue, dark grey, and I think, was there even some dark brown? Yeah, there were some pretty dark browns in it. A fair amount of ABs. I will say this is one kit where I felt like the ABs were in there more because they always include special drills. Sorry, it wasn't just ABs. There was 1 AB and there were 3 fairy dust. Fairy dust, I'm always down with those. They kind of add texture. The ABs, I mean, they're here and on the knobs and in these little pots, and they're a little bit unnecessary, I felt, just because round drills sparkle so much anyway from Diamond Art Club, and they weren't necessarily things that you really care about highlighting that much. But whatever, they were there, so I placed them. And yeah, it was fun. Like a lot of other things recently, I took my time doing the early stages. I was a bit like, ugh, not sure about this. But then I came back to it with probably about 2 rows to go, maybe 2.5. And I just did all that in what ended up being like 2 or 3 days. Because like I said, I got into my groove with multi-placing, and I've just been really into diamond painting recently. So yeah, these last bits worked out really quickly. I'm not going to do a full post review on this one because I don't really have anything else to say that I haven't just said now. But I will show you one thing. In my plans for 2026 video, I said that I finally decided that I wanted to start keeping a paper logbook. And I wrote up a little bit about this one in there. So this is my logbook that I've started, and I literally just bought a notepad that had an elasticated thing and a ribbon bookmark, and those were the main things I was looking for. So I'm not going to go back and do any old ones. It's primarily going to be for new starts from now. But I figured if I'm finishing a kit and I have all the stickers and things still, I can just write that up at least. So what I've done. At the start, I have got tallies for the starts I've made and the finishes, because I generally have no idea of these things. So I thought that was useful to keep tabs. And so if I'm getting to like a really big landmark one, for instance, I might want to start a special kit. So since I started diamond painting, I've had 77 starts and 71 finishes so far. And I've got 2 that I've abandoned. And obviously I've got some whips underway. I feel like that maths isn't mathsing. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I feel like I've got 3 whips on the go. And I've abandoned 2 kits in the past. Once deliberately, once accidentally. So surely there should be yeah, I'm not sure what I've done there. I'll have to recount them. Obviously it's not that precise. Anyway, this is what I did for this, and I literally just like slapped the photos in and didn't put too much thought about it. I will figure out better ways to make it look pretty as I go along. But also I don't mind it being a bit rough and ready. That's kind of part of the appeal for me. So I don't know what start it was, but it was finished 71. I've got when I bought it and just some thoughts, which I've already covered. And then the other things I've got in here. Oh yes, this is a start as well. My Months of the Year project. My maths did maths. So yeah, I'm going to get to this in a second and show you it. But again, if you watched my 2026 plans video, I said that I'd found myself a new Mini Kits Months of the Year project to start. And that was from Forever Young. So with that, it came with individual sticky labels for the storage pots for all 79 colours, I think it was. And it also broke down all the individual images like this, but I figured I didn't particularly need those, so I've stuck them in here, but then they are here if I figure out I do need them. It's not going to be much space for, what's the word I'm looking for? Notes, but hey ho. And then the next one that goes in here is probably going to be the same as I did for this one, a retrospective entry for Gold Point Lighthouse, which I'm nearing the end of now. And then it will be new starts from then on. Okay, so that is Laundry Black Cats. Let me move on to that mini kit. So here is January from this set, and I think I'll take it out of here to show you better. But I've got it in a frame because like last year, I plan to just have this on my desk in my office so I can look at it when I'm doing my work. Okay, so these come on card and they've got like a postcard design on the back, which is cool. Like you could somehow use these as postcards, I guess. Well, I don't know. I mean, you could send it to someone. You could write their address here. You can write a message as well. But hey, I'm not sure what the thinking was behind that, but I like it. It's a bit different. So thoughts on this so far. I really, really love the image. I think this is really pretty, and there were definitely ones in the set that I like more than this, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they turn out. My initial impressions of working on it, I didn't love it. The card, first of all, this is a very me thing. The card means that although I still had it on my light pad on my easel, the light doesn't shine through. And that's just, I'm very, very used to working with a light pad. So for me, it's an adjustment to not have a light pad behind, and I'm just leaning in to try and see where to place and that kind of thing. The drills were fine. I didn't have any particular issues with the drills. But the glue, I wasn't a big fan of the glue. It felt to me very much like the old days of double-sided tape. And I know you can still get double-sided tape out there, kits, but I haven't come across one for a long time because almost everyone switched to pool glue. And I don't know what they've used. I mean, it had a clear cover over it, and it always used to be that if it had an opaque cover, it was double-sided tape. And a clear cover meant pool glue. So it probably is pool glue. It's just it had the feel of double-sided tape. And by that, I mean that there is no give. Once you've got those drills stuck down, they do not budge. You can't slide them around. So if you place them a bit wrong, you can't nudge them back into place, really. But then conversely, I also found that drills didn't want to stick to it a lot of the time. Like they would stay on my pen, so I had to like really press them down. But then once they were stuck, they were really stuck, which felt like a bit of a contradiction. Anyway, it's one of those things where it's like, I am so used to working on kits from the likes of Diamond Art Club, Diamond Art Studio, you know, really high quality places where high quality glue is generally a part of that picture, that I don't know how much of that is like an objective critique versus just, it's not what I'm used to. I wasn't so keen. But yeah, we'll see how I get used to it. I mean, I'm not put off doing them. You know, I'm gonna carry on doing them because I love the images, but it did take quite a while for quite a simple image because of all those factors. But it is gorgeous. I do really, really like it. I think these, because they're bigger, they're like, I think the images are about 6x4, whereas with the DAC ones, the whole card was 6x4. Actually, they're slightly bigger than 6x4 because this has a 6x4 aperture I believe. No, frame, that's what it was. It came with a frame that has a 6x4 space, and that cut off some of the edges. So it's like 7x5 card, and the picture is somewhere between 6x4 and 7x5. Whereas the GAC ones came on a 6x4 piece of canvas, and then the image was in the middle of that with a border around it. So they're quite a lot bigger, and the point of me saying that is that they're a lot more detailed. They're more scenic and varied, and yeah, I think they're all going to look really cool when done. I need to get myself some sort of an album so that as I do each month's one and switch them out, I've got somewhere to store the old ones. But yeah, mixed feelings on it, but I am looking forward to cracking on with the rest of the set. So that brings me to the end of my completions. Charlie's popped up to say hello. So I'm just going to quickly take you through my whips. I've only got 3 at the moment. What have you got on you, mate? A little bit of fluff. I've only got 3 whips at the moment. I will shortly have more, because in my 2026 planning video, I said how certain goals that I had were around starting, like working on the oldest kits in, oops, a box fell over. Working on the oldest kit in my stash, always having a round kit and a square kit on the go at least, so I'm getting through my rounds. I don't currently have one on the go. I have got them down from the loft today. When I say I mean my husband got them down, and that was the delay. But regardless, I kind of got into working on Gold Point Lighthouse, one of the whips I'm going to show you. So, you know, I've got certain goals and aims, but I'm still going to diamond paint with my feels, and if I'm enjoying one, then, you know, I'm going to carry on with that. So what I have to show you is 2 versions of The Apprentice by Cat Fedora, which is my Jaded Gem Shop comparison series project, and then Gold Point Lighthouse. And then very shortly I will be kitting up Steadfast Heart, which is the oldest kit in my stash and is also a round kit. And then I also got Weekend in Paradise down from the loft, which is my 2nd oldest kit. And I've actually got really into the idea of this refresh your stash. Charlie's attacking a box behind me if you can hear weird noises. So Lizette Crafts and Tells has issued this challenge to people to refresh your stash by working on your oldest kits. And I had a good look through my gems flow, and the oldest kits that I have were bought in 2022. So those first 2 that I mentioned are, you know, the oldest of those. But I only have about, I think it was something like 6 or 7 kits from 2022. 2 of which are kind of special ones that I'm not sure I want to get done yet. But I definitely want to get the others done this year. And then I was looking at 2023, and there's more from 2023, but there's not that many. And it increases every year. Like, I don't want to get into how many new kits I added in 2025. But I'm hoping that, I think to meet my goals, it's going to necessitate me having more whips on the go a lot of the time. So next time I do one of these reviews, you're probably going to see more whips, but hopefully I'll keep on like feeling really motivated to do a lot, and then I will be cracking through them. Anyway, stop wittering on Cat. Quick showing of these. And as I said, these are being done for a comparison series, so do check that out if you're interested in that kind of thing. So this is the first version of The Apprentice by Cat Fedora, one of my absolute favourite artists at Jaded Gem Shop. It is a 60 by 60 centimetre square painting. Have I got you pulled out as far as I can? Oh, we can do a little more. It is super high confetti. I have some mixed feelings on this one and the quality of the render, but I'm not going to go into that now because all that's been discussed in depth in the comparison series. So like, go check that out, guys. But I'm just going to show you the difference. I keep knocking the boxes over, sorry. So this is the original hybrid rendered style, as Jaded Gem Shop calls it, which basically means computer rendered with a little bit of touching up. And then this is the pixel charted or hand rendered version of the same art. They're pretty different. This one is super crisp. This one is quite fuzzy and hazy. But when compared to the original artwork, I'm definitely starting to feel by this point in the project that whilst I might find this one more fun to diamond paint on, and whilst I think it's going to be a really striking, beautiful image, In some ways, this one is going to land up being more faithful to the original artwork, where the colours are a bit more muted. And in some cases, I found that when I've really drilled down to it, colours have changed in this one. I really wish these boxes would stop falling over. Like this is a sort of terracotta colour in this image. And in the original artwork, it is a lot closer to the pink that you see on that version. So that is The Apprentice. Now I need to go get Gold Point Lighthouse off my easel to show you that one. I really hate getting kits on and off my easel, so consider yourselves very honoured that I have done that. So this is Gold Point Lighthouse. Bought back in 2023. So actually, if I hadn't already started this, based on the date I just saw in Gems Flow, I would have been starting it now, as it would have been my oldest project. So yeah, I have had this for quite a while, but I started this one back in the summer. I think it was August. I've always really loved this kit. What is that? Is it just me, or do your kits also pick up all kinds of random fluff? Like cat hair, I understand, we're a big cat house, but what's with the random orange fluff? I don't know. Anyway, so this was a 60 by 80 centimetre kit. And I remember, like, this was in the days before I was on Diamond Art Club sneak peek team, but I was, you know, very much a loyal customer. And I remember the person that did sneak peek this kit saying, this is like a landscape for people who like colour blocking. Because over in this section, like this sky, you often get blocky parts of sky in a landscape, but like it's extreme in this one. And then all down this side is not too bad. And then as you go over here, it does get a lot more confetti. So I think I had done up to about here until maybe about 4 days ago when I got back on it. So like I said, I'm really on with my diamond painting at the moment. And I'm spending hours at it. I think possibly a little bit it's because I was recently diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and as part of that I was prescribed a new medication. Well, an increased dose and a more regular taking of a medication that I'd been advised to take before for muscle spasms. And now I'm taking it more regularly. I don't know, either I'm lucky and I'm in a really good phase and it's not going to last, or the medication is stopping me tightening up so much when I diamond paint for a while. We shall see, but right now I'm able to diamond paint for longer periods of time and I'm making the most of it. So yeah, it's really pretty. Sorry, I'm going a bit hoarse for some reason. It is, I mean, quality-wise, you can tell it's an old kit. It's from long after, like, people who maybe haven't been buying from Diamond Art Club as long as I have, like, they've changed their drills so often that when I say it's the old type of drills, it's like, which version of the old drills? Because to me, the old drills are the ones when I started in 2021 and they had, you know, 13 facet and 9 facet drills mixed together and they were quite gappy. After that, in sort of 21, 22, they switched to making their own drills in-house and they had 13 facet drills only, and they tightened up the grid, and that's when I got super obsessed with their square drills because you had the much tighter grid. This one, I've got some 13 facet drills and I've got some of the next phase of drills, which was the 20 facet like pyramid type drills with the pointy bit in the middle. It's quite gappy, like it doesn't really show from here, but when it's on my light pad, I am really struck by how much more gappy it is. You really can't see it here, than a current one. And I think it's one of those things where, like, I remember working on kits like this, like Family Circus when that came out in 2022, and being blown away by like the snug grid and how wonderfully the drills fit. And it's just really interesting to me that this now feels quite, not low quality, it still feels like a great quality diamond painting, but the quality is much lower than more recent ones I'm working on. It just shows how they keep evolving. But this kit is very trash prone. I'm hoping I'm not going to run out of any colours, because I am, like, you know, every time I shake drills into my tray, I'm having to pick over them, pick out bits with holes, with tabs, mostly tabs. So yeah, that makes it a little more of a challenge. But as long as I get to the end without running out, it's all good, you know. It is of its time. And I'm really pleased with how it's turning out. There are a few things I think in the render that, do you know what though? I'm looking through the viewfinder and I think I need to remember about my viewing distance, because I was about to say this very flat line where the water meets the cliffs here looks a bit clunky to me compared to the original artwork. But then when I'm looking at it through the viewfinder, it doesn't seem such a flat line. I think it's because it's sort of a flat line where the brown drops into other colours on the canvas, but they are different colours, so it does give you that like adjusted effect. I don't know if I'm even making sense at this point, but I hope to have this one done. I mean, I'm back to work now, so my time's going to be reduced, but hopefully, possibly in the next week or two. Like, I'm not going to have much diamond painting time this weekend, but we'll see. I'll hopefully have a finish on this soon, and then I'll probably do a post review and give you some more complete thoughts on it. But in the meantime, I'm happy, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, and that's that. So that is everything. The other whip, of course, is my months of the year mini kits. But like I said with the first set I did last year, I sort of see each individual month as a mini completion, even though I won't tick it off as a completion in my logbook until I've done the whole set. What is going on in my voice? I'm sounding really husky to myself. So I'm going to stop rabbiting on there and go do some editing. But yeah, this is probably quite long compared to my usual quarterly reviews, just because I've done so much this year. So yeah, that's kind of exciting for me. The next one of this kind of video is going to be my end of year review in April, when I will be celebrating 5 years of diamond painting, which is really exciting. But yeah, that's me. Yeah, hope you're all doing well. I hope you all had a fabulous new year, whatever you were doing. And I will hopefully see you again soon on the next video. Bye bye.